The Footy was created on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to all First Nations people and acknowledge their profound contribution to the game we bloody love.
This is a Grouse House podcast.
Folks, the regular season is over for the men, apart from one weird game in a few hours as we record this. And the W is just firing on all cylinders. Let's get ready to...
bounce that pill.
Welcome, folks, to the... and that keep that pew in for sure, Tom. I love that. Welcome to the Footy with Marns, our Thursday or Wednesday, if you're watching, edition of the Footy. And it's been a long year of men's, but now it's a weekend off for the men's, apart from one weird game, one outlier in the Marnie Tom Cup. Half of us are coming to you from the Sunshine State in Queensland, and the other ones are coming from the home of culture, the home of cool hats. We've got Tom and Broden in Brisbane, and we've got Marnie and Paddy in Melbourne. Hello to you, Tom, firstly. How are you?
So good, thank you, mate. Are we going to talk about what happened when you walked into my room today?
Yeah, about the meat. We can talk about the meat later. And down in Melbourne, he had just meat sitting on the counter at room temperature, and then he did a tirade to me about how you have to cook meat like that. I really don't want to get into it. Please welcome Quill Award-winning journalist and die-hard Bombers fan. Not really, just, rock and roll stuff. Marnie Vinyl.
G'day, how's it going?
Very good to see you. And also, Patrick, how are you going, mate?
I'm good, Broden. How are you?
Oh, none of the whispering. We're cutting no more whispering from Paddy.
That honestly sent a shiver down my spine. I hate it.
See, the thing is, I'm doing the audio mix this week, Tom, so I can put in all my weird stuff and just keep it. I can do whatever I want.
I'll fly down and punch
unmitigated power.
Marnie, how's your week been?
A lot, actually. It's been a lot, but that's okay. They all are.
It's been a hefty week of news and things coming from left, right and centre, but I thought the Footy from the W on the weekend in particular was pretty fantastic. Have you talked through in detail that goal, that Essendon goal yet?
Oh, the Sophie Alexander one?
Yeah,
I talked about it in detail with Sophie Alexander. I went straight to the rooms. It was an interesting experience. Because I was at the game with Hester Brown, friend of the pod, and Isla did Auskick, and Esme was also there in Bombers gear. It was so cute. But watching football with children is a very different experience, and I would say that I enjoyed that game on the replay later.
Yeah, you can't be talking to a toddler about disposal efficiency. They do not care at all.
No.
They don't care about the percentage of kicking. Well, that's good. Shall we just crack into the news? Any takers? Shall we do it?
Yep. Let's
do it. It's time for the news with Marnie Vinyl. Hit it.
Get the fuck up!
Love that sting. What's the news, Marnie?
All right. I don't even know where to start. Let's start with something positive, and I want to start about the All-Australian squad through a positive lens, because what an interesting day to just be on social media. I actually had to get off social media because I understand that a lot of people missed that potentially should have been in the All-Australian squad, but I didn't see one positive thing. Literally, the Suns, who had 5 players in the squad, they put up a post being so ecstatic about that, and it had one comment that just said, thrilled, full stop. and then, like, every North thing that I saw, and, like, fair enough. But I just want to say, like, there are 28 potential first-time All-Australians. There are some really cool stories in this, like potential first-timers like Hugh McCluggage and Josh Battle, and sure, Cal Wilkie might have earned that position more. You can argue that till, and I'm sure that we will. But Ben Long, Noah Anderson, Matt Raup, Ben King, Matt Keane, I love that. Josh Worrell, Riley Thilthorpe. There's so many players that could be potential first-timers that I just... like, it's really hard to be All-Australian. You can be a really good player and not be All-Australian. It's really tough, and I think that we could also just, like, celebrate for a second how cool it is. Bailey Dale in there. That's so cool. Sam Darcy in there is interesting. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, as a Richmond supporter, it makes me happy to see Nick Floston in there, but I did go full nuff and I saw Josh Battle in over Cal Wilkie and I just started side-mouthing. Like, it's an involuntary reaction when you see the All-Australian team drop because you always think, like, oh, surely this guy will be in or surely this person's in the 22, but yeah, as soon as they don't make it, it's just an instinctive reaction.
It is part of the human condition always to look at the thing that feels out to you or to go to the negative. Like go, oh, what's that about? And not to look at the positives of it. It's in the human condition. But it is right. It is. How many debutants were there potentially, man?
Potentially 28. But also, I get the Tristan Cherry thing. I completely get it. I really, really do. But we were on mic a week ago being like, who are our locks? And I'm pretty sure you lot said Max Gawn, and there's been a pretty strong case for Brodie Grundy all year. Also, you can make a very good case for Darcy Cameron. I get it. I get that Tristan has had an impeccable career and it is a very notable admission, but you can't have every good ruck.
What's everyone's favourite when people go, does Tristan Cherry play tennis or does Cal Wilkie do yachting?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of does play tennis. I like that
tennis
one.
is good. Badminton is a good one.
Did you have any, either of you?
I did see pickleball. I don't mind pickleball. I mean, because that's picking up on the trend. I wouldn't have had Sherry in either, to be honest. I think he was probably the fourth best ruck behind, or even fifth really this year, which I think will make North Melbourne fans upset. But when you look at the year that Grundy and Gawn and Jackson, even Darcy Cameron's first, I think 12 weeks are really good. I think it's hard to justify having 5 rucks in a 44-person squad.
Well, yeah, no, it's an interesting point because we know that 2 rucks makes it a bit harder sometimes, but we don't know what 3 rucks do. And then that means we don't know what 4 rucks do. And if any coach was brave enough to put 5 rucks in a team, maybe you would open it up and they would win the flag. Let's find out. Anyway.
And what a weird week. I'm so used to it being like men's All-Australian / AFLW starting week, but instead it's Suns and Essendon have a game, by the way. For everyone pre-writing Suns in finals content, there is a game that is being played. It is doing my absolute head in. I get it. Suns are favourites. They obviously should win that game, and it would be a huge blunder from Gold Coast to not win that game. But West Coast almost beat Adelaide. What other upsets did we have recently that were interesting? But it's not a done deal. It's not,
no.
And it's such a precarious position to go into. I mean, I hope Suns haven't been listening to everyone just already putting them in the top 8 and writing, being like Western Bulldogs is already out.
Yeah. I love how this whole week has felt like the entire industry is so confused as to how to manage it because we've had finals fixture released for the qualifying finals because they're locked in and everyone's just sort of twiddling their thumbs waiting for the elimination finals. I mean, I just feel for the flights that are going to cost so much money for either Gold Coast or Western Bulldogs supporters depending on what happens tonight because you just know that the airlines are watching that game closely, waiting till 3/4 time and then punching them up.
Nothing on the Suns, Tom?
Should we have something on it, Tom? I know you're on tour, but can we do a thing again where the loser has to buy the winner a treat?
Sure thing, whatever you want.
He's been putting meat on the bench, and I don't agree with it. Like he says, meat's better at room temperature.
Yeah, you need to cook steak at room temperature. Because Broden, what he's doing is taking ice cold steaks out and putting them in the pan.
I'm not
and
doing
the
that at
pan's
all.
dropping a lot of degrees really quickly and it really ruins it. Yeah, you can't leave a steak out for too long. Some people dry age them in the fridge for like 3 days and stuff. I don't do that.
See, I've opened up a kettle of worms here. I'm going to move on from that. But what I will say is one of the interesting anomaly stats of the year is Essendon have played. There's one player on the Essendon list who hasn't played AFL this year. Is that right? Did I hear that correctly?
That sounds right. You would be feeling so hard done by if you were that one player.
I'm going to find out who it is.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they'll play eventually.
It could be because of injury, though.
Yeah, no, it could be.
Yeah.
At Essendon?
What other news, Marns?
Should we dive right into Jack Silvagni is leaving the Blues. He's told Carlton that he will leave the club as a free agent, but he's yet to declare where he will play. So the 2 clubs that he is weighing up, Collingwood, the Western Bulldogs, and he's completed medicals at both. Both offers are similar 4-year deals. not too dissimilar to the contract offered from Carlton, but Silvagni said that money was not the primary reason for the move. So he will depart the club after 10 years, and the Silvagni era at comes to a close.
Huge, absolutely huge. He was good as a defender, right? Like, he's a very valuable defender. And why wasn't he playing all year?
Injury, I believe.
Injury.
He's always been injured a lot. And yeah, it's only this year that he's moved down back, I think. So
Yep.
it's very speculative still.
I feel like Collingwood colours seem similar enough to Carlton colours that it's kind of working okay in my head, but I cannot picture him in Western Bulldogs. Like, it's not making sense in my head at all.
I think back to when Ollie Henry played his first game for Geelong after leaving Collingwood and how angry Collingwood supporters are. Can you imagine what will happen if he goes to Collingwood and then Carlton play Collingwood in the early part of the season? I think the stadium might get burnt down.
Some Carlton supporters, oh my goodness, some Carlton supporters have been going other Carlton supporters for saying, go well. Jack. Genuinely, it is mad. Calm down.
They're a funny little situation down there. I think Collingwood desperately need a player like him, and the Dogs even more than Collingwood need a player like him. I feel like if he was injury-free and came into the Western Bulldogs next year, then they're in the finals. Like, if he's playing for them this year, he's in there. And Magpies with Jeremy Howe now looking to be out for 3 weeks, and a player like Silvagni would be immensely useful for both of those teams.
And Essendon could use a player.
Yeah.
I found out who the one player might be. Kale Jarine, I think is how you say his name. He's a first-year key forward. There you go.
You've got some great names coming in at the Essendon, okay? That's who else is on the move, Marns?
To tell you who's not on the move is Harley Reid, who's re-signed to the Eagles until 2028. So that announcement came just days after Oscar Allen told the club he would be leaving as a restricted free agent to join Brisbane. Reid was already contracted until 2026 on a standard three-year deal. And so the new deal is an extension of 2 seasons, and West Coast fans loved this. This was all over my feed.
Yeah, I'm so happy for West Coast the same way that I'm so happy for St Kilda, even though with the Nazai Wanganeen Miller signing, even though it is only 2 years. I just think that all the discussion had been so acidic about Harley. Oh, is he leaving? Is he leaving? Is he leaving? But now I don't think he'll get the ability to play 100 games for the footy club, even if he was to leave at the end of this contract, because he's been injured. So he wouldn't be able to play enough games. But him being there for 4 years is a good thing for the sport. And West Coast need a very good player to stay, considering they're going to lose Oscar Allen and then maybe Liam Ryan as well, who requested the trade to St Kilda. So yeah, stoked for Harley.
Do we know how much he's getting per year?
I think I saw it reported that there are heavy incentives, I think, in the second year of his contract extension that could see him paid a lot of money. But at least for his third year at the Eagles, he'll be on his rookie-based contract, because I don't think you can get paid more than what you're on with your first contract in the AFL, which I believe is around 500, 600 max.
Right. It's an interesting little world, right? Because a player like Will Ashcroft, who is a Norm Smith Goal of the Year Rising Star Premiership medalist at the age of 21, next year comes out of contract. So what do you pay a kid like him? And then you look at the other young players. You look at a player like Nick Dacos, who just signed recently. He could be one of the most underpaid players on about $700K a year because he signed a year or two early. Like the contracts have just massively exploded, and they're going to continue to. Very fascinating part of it. It's just very interesting.
I've been enjoying all of the memes of people being like Nazaya and Tom de Koning's cars next to each other at St Kilda, and then everyone else's cars are like beat up Hobbins. And they're like, I don't know what an expensive car is.
Yeah.
Give me an expensive car.
What's your favourite car at the moment? Polestar, Broden?
Polestar.
Yeah.
I think so. Even better than
They're sponsored
Pulsars.
by Cherry, aren't they, the Saints? So does everyone else get a Cherry and then Nazaya and Tom de Koning get Polestars? Something like that.
But also, yeah, we didn't mention Tom de Koning's also out of the Blues, into the Sainers. Love that. What a surprise. No one saw that coming.
They're a fascinating watch now, because 25% of their salary is going towards 2 players. Really, really interesting. I guess one's a midfielder forward and one's a ruckman.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, IMO.
Yeah. It's an interesting watch. They clearly have some sort of list management plan, and it's very different to a team like Geelong where everyone's paid equally or unders to play in a good side. But it is true, if you're a small team, you need to do this kind of stuff or go long contracts or big numbers.
News that dropped when I was on my way here, and I've been a little bit frantic trying to report on it while also doing this, is that on Wednesday morning, former West Coast player Mitch Brown became the first openly bisexual man in AFL history to come out. So Brown played 94 games for the Eagles between 2007 and 2016, and an exclusive with the Daily Oz gave a, I thought, quite touching and at moments really difficult to listen to interview where he talked about being bisexual and while in the AFL system. So before this, in the 130 years of AFL history, no male player, past or present, had ever identified as gay or bisexual. So no openly queer players before. And he talked really well, I thought, about feeling exhausted from hiding his identity within a culture that had such pervasive homophobia. And I've gotten on mic before and I've said the stats, and I've done those stories about how pervasive homophobia is within Australian sports, but particularly in Aussie rules. But there is nothing like having a player who's been inside the system and be so open with his experience to really paint the picture of how pervasive it is in the AFL. In one moment, he said that a teammate said that they would rather be in a cage full of lions than have to shower next to a gay man. And there was countless homophobic comments, including some that were directed at him, and slurs were thrown around so constantly to the point where they just became part of the normal conversation. And it's been really cool watching this story be circulated and just catch like wildfire. I mean, I know I live in an echo chamber, but all across my social media in a way that has just been so celebrated, and Mitch has been so championed. And I don't think that we can really undersell what a courageous thing that this is, that Mitch Brown has done, while also really listening to what he said. So, you know, he said that he wanted to tell this story, and he didn't want to speak on behalf of the queer community but as himself, but he wanted others to really feel seen, and then maybe a second person or a third person or just someone who's within Aussie rules, men's Aussie rules in Australia, can just feel a little bit more seen, knowing that there's probably someone in the queer community playing against them or with them that might not necessarily be out yet, because we know that the culture doesn't really allow for that in a particularly safe way. So unbelievably courageous, while also I think we should be listening to just how deeply pervasive homophobia is in the story that he told.
Oh, I just want to add to everything you've just said, Marnie, but what an absolute legend Mitch is for doing this. It just opens up this doorway that just wasn't there before. It's just so, he must be the coolest guy to be doing this, and I think just to everyone listening and from our should just get around him for being so brave to do it. But also it's now talking about experience as opposed to speculating, I guess, or someone putting their experience to the name of being in the change rooms and what it's like. It's mammoth and it's fantastic. And when you talk about what happened last week or the week before with the Crows, and even the fallout on social media of people who were the involved on the other side of the rank in comments, you just see how damaging it is from the outside. But him talking about on the inside, it's a whole entirely new conversation. I'm just so rapt he's done it. I don't know him. I think I remember him playing a little bit, but it's just awesome.
Yeah. And because I think that a lot of the LGBTQIA plus community within sport has really had to bear the brunt of people saying, well, they're just words. What happened to sticks and stones? And so to have someone explain it so well,
yes,
I think it will make a lot of people feel seen.
Yeah, good on you, Mitch. Thank you so much for doing it.
I don't know whether this is, you feel free to cut this if this is not a conversation, if I've done this to death. But I thought it was like something that I've been seeing a lot is like how Adelaide must be feeling, including there was a comment on our video last week that was just like, can we spare a second for how can we feel for Adelaide fans right now, because they were looking good for the flag and now they have had hit a few rocks in the ship that they were driving. And I do feel like it would be really hard to be a queer Adelaide fan, particularly at the moment. I think that club made a series of decisions that weren't ideal to, and watching it was not great. And so I called my dad today because he is the biggest Adelaide fan that I know. And my sister is unbelievably progressive. So I've always grown up in a very progressive environment. It's all I've ever known. But he's a man in his 70s in Australia. And watching him learn about all of these cultural issues through sport has been one of like the greatest delights of my life. Like, he knows about the non-binary experience because of the amount of non-binary AFLW players, and he constantly has questions for me, and it's like the coolest thing ever. But still, he's a footy fan, right? And so I called him and I was like, I just want to know, as an Adelaide fan, who, like, you are a progressive man and you are a massive Adelaide Crows fan, like, how are you feeling in this moment? And he said that, a few weeks ago, he had that feeling he had in 2017 where he was so excited. He was like, we are looking so good. And like, I love watching my team play. And every week it's like, I'm going to get the footy food ready. He lives in Bathurst, so he's not going to games. He's watching them from the TV, but he's getting like the footy food out. And now that excitement is really tempered for him. Yeah. Like, he's got this really resigned feeling to the Crows, and he was like, well, I'll still support them in finals, but not like with my whole chest. And I just really thought it was like an interesting conversation that I had. And he also like is obsessed with the Adelaide Crows AFLW side, and so there's also, he's listening to Chelsea Randall say how disappointing that week's been, and he's got a lot of admiration and love for those players.
Yeah, I think the way I feel about it is the way it played out and how it was reported was that the AFL wanted to give Rankin 5 weeks, but Adelaide spent the week thinking about ways to try and get it down to 4 so he could play again, and the AFL relented. I believe that's how it's played out.
That is exactly how it played out, yeah.
I think that I feel for Adelaide fans like your dad who are sad about this, the way this has played out. I can think a little bit to my experience as a Richmond supporter post-2017 grand final, when Nathan Broad was revealed to have taken inappropriate photos and shared them around to his mates. And I remember feeling like that had slightly tarnished my experience even after the fact of the grand final. So I feel for Adelaide supporters, but I also think that disappointment should be forwarded to the way the club has handled this, because the club did have the option, I suppose. I would have appreciated some stronger leadership from the AFL in the first instance to say this is 5 or 6 weeks and that's it, and then take it down a nastier path if that's where the club wanted to go, but ultimately be stronger in their leadership and more forthright. But it was the club that tried to get the penalty down. Yeah, sorry,
if that was not clear in what I was saying, Dad is not...
Yes,
his
of course, yeah.
Excitement is not tempered because they don't have Isaac Rankin. His excitement is tempered because of the way the club handled the entire situation. He thinks that Rankin should have had 5, if not more.
Yep. I've seen plenty of people saying everyone would have done the exact same thing, and I genuinely don't believe that to be the case at all. I don't think most clubs would have done it. I think, I'm really surprised they did it, but also I think it comes from the AFL as well. I think it's poor leadership from the AFL to let it get to the point where it was still up for conjecture. It should have come out Monday and said 5 weeks, let's go, see you later. But yeah. It also shows some people don't know how to adult. Like, someone clearly did something wrong, and I know you like that team, and I know you'd like to see them win some games. It's just so clear, black and white, what happened was wrong.
And it's cool seeing that reaction, I think, not obviously just from my dad, which I'm very... I love him dearly, and I'm glad that's his reaction. But we constantly have this the flag is the most important thing. It'll always make me go laugh is probably the wrong word, but Essendon, their tagline during those drug years was Oh my goodness, wow, I've just forgot
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Their tagline was whatever it takes. And it's just, that's not true. It's really cool watching fans know that the flag is not the most important thing in the world.
100%.
Yeah, I think some of my most memorable years of being a fan of football has been when my team hasn't even made finals. Like when I was a little boy in 2010 and Richmond were just coming up and Jack Rewalt won the Coleman and kicked 10 against West Coast. Round 1, 2025, as a Richmond supporter, beating Carlton in a year where my team has won 5 games and got spanked most weeks remains one of my most memorable football moments, and I've been lucky enough to see the team I barrack for win 3 premierships. So it's not just about the big golden thing at the end of the year.
Now I'm going to go back on everything that I've said because Essendon co-captain Bonnie Toogood has been suspended for 2 games.
So what's the story here, Marnie?
So Essendon co-captain, and I think we can say Marnie's favourite player. I don't think I've been shy about that. My birthday, my 30th cake was a
friend
photo.
Of the podcast?
Was a photo of Bonnie Toogood. Yep, friend of the podcast. She has been handed a 2-match ban for a dangerous tackle in the 4th quarter of the West Coast game.
Yeah.
Really did pin Zoe's arms, and I saw some people saying that Essendon had a case. I don't think that they really had a leg to stand on within that appeal, but they took it to the tribunal anyway and lost that appeal. So Bonnie will be out for 2 matches. 2 interesting threads to pull at this is that Bonnie's tackle on Zoe Wakefer, Bonnie was awarded a free kick for that, so it was called holding the ball. Essendon won that game by less than a goal. If you were a West Coast supporter, I think you have a leg to stand on in being a little bit disgruntled about that particular decision. And secondly, it's a 2-match ban in a 12-week game. So once again, Zoe didn't enter concussion protocols, but if she had, she's also been taken out of a game. So that needs to be factored in, of course, whenever there's dangerous tackles. But 2 games out of 12?
Yeah. So, missing 2 out of 12. I can't do percentages, and if I could, the process has just left
About
my brain.
17%, I reckon.
Thank you.
I don't know, though. I dropped maths in year 9, but about 17%.
I'm going to go 15%, and I'm going to get yelled
Fair.
at by the audience.
Fair.
Big cop for Essendon.
And if I can do a Melbourne one, Olivia Purcell has done her ACL, and I'm gutted about that. Was our disposal accruer, and big bummer there. She's so good. And last year she fractured her face, I believe, and was out for a large portion of last year as well. So I'm a bit gutted for her because she's a proper gun.
Am I right? That is not her first ACL.
I'm going to look it up because I feel like it.
I don't think it is.
Be.
I think Liv Purcell's had a really challenging time with injuries, which is really hard because she's such a good player and she's such a good person.
Yeah, I'm still checking. It is her second tear, you're right. So she did one in early 2021 when she was a Geelong player. So really sad for Liv Purcell. I think Ainsley Kemp as well for Hawthorn did her 4th, which is ridiculous. And I think one of her knees, she no longer has the ligament. I actually found this out from Sarah Perkins when I was on Wharf Radio doing the Western Bulldogs Richmond game. But 4 knees, you just look through some of the injury histories of these players and it's remarkable, which is why I think it's been so incredible that Chloe Molloy's been able to do what she's done at the start of the season, coming off an ACL.
Oh, I know. Chloe's just... Okay, something else. 7 goals in her second game back from an ACL. Sydney are flying. Absolutely. It's so good. And Jessie Garner, 31 touches, 6 goals on the weekend. That is remarkable. There's this really interesting conversation to be had, I think, within the AFLW and obviously the massive competitive imbalances because we are seeing blowouts, 80-point wins across the board. And for a long time, the AFLW has had to cop a lot of criticism for being low scoring and not competitive to watch. And now we are seeing some competitive games like Essendon beating West Coast by less than a goal. The week before it was Brisbane and Hawthorn. Yeah. Hawthorn again with Carlton. We're seeing some low scoring but competitive games v some really high scoring. Sydney put on 103 points.
I know.
And it is so exciting to watch Sydney and to watch North and to watch Brisbane, like really good teams, just be really good is so satisfying to me. But is there a point where that novelty wears off and like no one really wants to watch blowouts every single weekend?
Marnie, you said 3 teams who were kicking high scores, but just if you could tell me the percentage of Melbourne for everyone in the back. 502%.
Yes. No, it's 520%, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Even
I'm
better.
getting it. I'm pretty sure it's 500. Yeah, 520.7%. And the Kangas have a percentage of 383. Sydney, 272. And then Essendon on 210. But then on the flip side of that, you've got Yaltapulti with a percentage of 29. Your Gold Coast Suns have a percentage of 29.
Sorry, Tom.
Cats, 40. Giants, 45. Like it's massive. It honestly feels like there are 2 leagues within that league.
Yeah, it does. I wanted to go early on this, and I also wanted to go early on holding the ball. But I think a lot of it will start to make more sense once we're, I think, a month down. Because I think back to the start of the men's season and some bizarre results that always pop up. I think that the year will settle. I hope the year will settle because or else North Melbourne are going to win every game by 80 points. And as much as I like watching Jazzy Garner every week, 80-point blowouts are pretty tough to watch. But like I was at the Doggies Richmond game. Like that felt like, the Doggies started last year so terribly and the Tigers have played finals for the last couple of seasons, or at least they've had 3 out of 4. And they felt like 2 teams that were sort of going in opposite directions and going past each other. So there is a crossover at least. But yeah, the difference between the top end and the bottom end, pretty stark.
I will say it was very pleasing though, and this is not coming from my mouth, but Kate McCarthy's, and you can read about it in the ABC, with that North Melbourne Port Adelaide Yaltapulti game, that Power didn't park the bus. Like they like they were getting goals just piled on them, and they continued to play an attacking style. And that was very, very pleasing to watch, where I think last year we had, particularly in the condensed fixture, we had a lot of teams just go super defensive, put players behind the ball, just to do anything to try and stop the flow. And that becomes, I think, less enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I agree. I think there was that. I think the initial coach for Carlton back in the start was just doing lockdown games, and made the footy look really bad. And it's nice that Port are doing that, or Power are doing that. Well, that's all our news. Time to go to tipping.
Tipping. Tipping. Tipping.
That's some good tipping there. Good tipping music. Let's just all go around and say, I'll just say, shout out if you think Essendon will win tonight.
I'm not just like a hard, Suns have this in the bag. Like, yeah, obviously obviously I'm tipping Suns, but like, I'm not counting Bombers
Suns will lose
out.
for sure. There's zero chance Suns will win tonight.
Zero chance Suns will win tonight. Did you hear that?
I did. You said this on Wacky Willie as well, Tom. I know you're playing the long game.
No, I'm not even. I just think that like our performances against GWS and Port, they're just unacceptable and we're not good. And this will come out tomorrow, and I hope I'm wrong, but this is the most Sun things ever. We've done this for like 10 years or whatever, just really fallen short at the end.
But if you, what do you get? Marnie, and you're going to get Marnie
a treat,
some sort of delicious treat.
Yeah, for Marnie that'll be, let me guess, like some form of chili and egg toasted sandwich, probably.
Yum! I will have a chili and egg toasted sandwich.
Where's the best chili and egg in Melbourne? Sorry.
Well,
Question without notice.
but I don't want other people to go because I like that it's my community.
Okay.
Sleepies. I put on my Instagram every single day. Sleepies do the best toasties in all of Melbourne. They do a kimchi toasty, and I'm not the biggest kimchi fan. Like, I don't like pickled food very much, but the kimchi toasty that you get with a fried egg, oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god. You can get a
Chili
mee goreng
scrambles.
toasty, and if you are hungover, will change your life.
Hang on,
but if you're not hungover and you eat it, it'll put you to bed.
Okay.
It is mee goreng within toasted bread. It is just carbs on carbs on carbs.
I want to eat that.
Yeah.
The first game is August 29 at Richmond versus Essendon. It's also worth saying that in the W it is Indigenous round, and so we're going by the Indigenous names for some of the teams that choose to do so. Richmond and Essendon do not. It is a tight tussle here, with the audience tipping pretty close, 42% tipping the Bombers against the Richmond's 58. There's been talk about the list management of Richmond being a pretty good list. But
Marnie and I are going to have an argument. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Is this going to be about Richmond's
Yes.
list? Okay, yeah. So I put in our Slack channel that. Okay, well, can I say the whole thing? Okay, so you put in our Slack channel that Richmond's coach should be sacked, and I responded saying, that's why I just asked you whether I could say what with the whole thing. And then I responded saying, no, I think the list manager should be sacked, and you did not agree with me.
Yes, just with respect to Ryan Ferguson, I don't truly believe you should be sacked. I was just trying to be funny to the funny people, and no one laughed.
Melbourne
so that's
superstar.
fine. But I think that the style Richmond play at the moment is poor. They look so boring and uninteresting, and I wish they would do something to liven it up. I spoke to a few people about this, and my thinking is Ellie McKenzie needs to go behind the football and play off halfback.
Okay,
because
I
they
don't mind
desperately
that.
need someone to kick out a halfback. Ever since Eilish Sheeran left the football club, they have looked bereft of any forward movement outside of Mon Conti from the guts and Ellie McKenzie looping around. And that is the sound of about half of our audience just dropping away because I'm going on another Richmond rant. Essendon will win this game by 7
How many
goals.
marks did you take inside 50 in your
Zero,
last game?
Marnie. Zero.
Okay. I just
Yeah,
think that
they're
like
not good.
Katie
Richmond.
Brennan. Caitlin. Sorry.
When was the last time KB did something good? And I love KB
You
so
hate-
much, just to be clear.
You leave KB alone.
But I think that Richmond just have like a bunch of like big names and stars. And like, of course, I could watch Mon Conti and Ellie McKenzie all day, Caitlin Greiser. But like the depth, I would argue, is not.
We haven't seen Sierra Greaves yet, and
One
Zoe
player.
Hargraves did
Okay.
her knee. All right? So get your facts right.
I do have my facts right. I think people are going to agree with me.
If Richmond win this, you owe me a me-goring toasty.
Okay.
Great.
I also don't think Essendon is like gonna, one of the best teams in the comp.
I'm tipping Bombers. That was full on. I just watched it. That was the most full on thing I've ever seen between both of you. I just had to, what did you think of that, Tom?
Yeah, it was incredible.
I'm going to tip Bombers for me.
Yeah, Bombers for me too.
I'm tipping Essendon. I can't tip Richmond after that.
Yeah, I'm obviously tipping Essendon.
Henson Park game on August 30. Where are we? No, we're not there. Bummer. GWS playing at Henson Park and versus Koana Crows. This is interesting.
Yeah, can I talk to this?
Yeah, please.
I just think that GWS are in a real rough patch. And
Yeah.
they need they have really struggled with things like it being not being a national draft up until last year, but they need to kick up the, am I allowed to say, kick up the bum.
Bottom.
Because even just after they lost, so they were leading Collingwood for the majority of the game over the weekend, and then it just got away from them in the end. And I just feel like if you're a side that haven't had back-to-back wins since 2021, and you're up and that was a game that you should have won, there should be an element of frustration there. And I'm not telling someone how to coach or not telling teams how they should act mentally. Like if you want to be positive about that particular performance, fine. But I asked Cam in the presser afterwards about it, and he was just kind of really happy about that they'd improved so much that on their it was like 70-point loss to Essendon the week before. And then I said, well, is it going to be really hard to kind of get the motivation up to go against the powerhouse that is the Crows? And he said, well, no, they're kind of treating it like a free hit. I don't think you can be. Am I alone?
Yeah.
Is that not kind of?
It feels a bit, and sorry to take this back to Richmond, but it feels a little bit like post-match against Sydney where the coach was saying, the ground was, we weren't quite used to the way the ground's set up at North Sydney Oval, it's a bit small. I'm like, well, it doesn't quite feel like the attitude that's conducive to playing well, I think.
But it's also like, okay, so if you in the men's, Richmond beating Carlton in round one is because they went into that game believing that they were going to win. They didn't going like, oh, well, we've got no side. We're all young, free hit.
Parker's hurt.
It could be just they're so bad. Like he's aware of how dire this situation for them is, so that he goes, maybe the best thing to do is to just be relatively open but positive about it. But either way, Giants need to be firing in this. This is where the Giants as a fan base could see proper growth if they become relatively good. So it is a bummer. Everyone's tipping the Crows, surely.
Yep, Adelaide to win by whatever margin you want, I think, Marnie.
RSCA Park, Yorok taking on Woolwich Murrawa. So Saints versus Eagles. Eagles have been very competitive in every game so far, obviously smashing the Suns and then obviously being close against the Bombers. Saints got pumped by the D's last week. Who do you go in? This is actually
but the
quite
week
a good game.
beforehand, they pumped Adelaide. So I think it's going to be, Saints are going to be one of those teams that's like week on, week off, week on, week off. Like they absolutely burn the tank because they've got good players and they can do it, but then they can't play at that high level consistently potentially yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there's some
makes
teams
sense.
that you really see like go up and down. I feel like Saints might, based off 2 rounds, could be that kind of team.
Yeah, I think so. Eagles are kind of similar, though. I actually think the Eagles win
Yeah,
on the road,
sure.
I reckon.
I feel, but did the Eagles go home and come back?
No, they've stayed in Melbourne.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well, that gives them more of a chance, I think.
All that bonding time.
I'm tipping the Saints.
Yeah, me too.
Or go
Eagles.
Eagles.
Eagles as well.
Also on August 30, GMHBA Stadium, Cats versus Swans at GMHBA. Cat is down there, but Swans are good. Hey, I'm good for fun. I'm tipping the Swans.
I think the Swans too, for sure. They've been good.
My darling mother is flying to Melbourne to go to my best friend's baby shower, and it works that I can take her down to Cardinia Park to see this game, and we're very excited.
Hell yeah. That'll be very lovely. It's a lovely... You're going back down there. Weren't you there a week ago?
Yeah, I love Geelong.
Oh, he loves Geelong too. Tell him about your house you like there.
Oh, yeah, there was a house for compared to Melbourne prices, very, very affordable, 3-bedroom, very nice house, like opposite Cardinia Park. And I was like, there's like a big train station there as well. I was like, of course people move here. It's fucking sick.
You could all move down and do the pod together down. It could become a pro-Geelong show.
Hey, I don't reckon a team has ever come back and made finals from 0-3 in an AFLW season. So if Geelong lose this, they're zipping 3, and that might be it. And I reckon Sydney win.
That's rough. Oh, and for context, listeners, like I know we harp on about the season length in W all the time, but because there's only 12 rounds, they weight the fixture. So if you know, like North are playing harder teams, like it does impact the integrity like a little bit. And so,
Totally.
do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, oh my goodness, like it matters a lot. Like some people have really hard draws and some people have a lot easier draws.
Yeah,
Like
it's the story
arguably,
with the D's, right?
Like,
Because they missed finals last year. Did they miss finals?
Yep.
They get such a nicer run as compared to a team like, for instance, Richmond.
Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Richmond. Sure.
Yep.
It'll be zipping 3 because of Zippy Fish. Little joke from me there. Moving on to Alberton Oval's game, Yatapulti Power taking on the Gold Coast Suns. 5% of people are giving Gold Coast Suns a chance. I think that's fair.
I don't think that's fair. It should be 0%, I think, sadly.
He's off the Suns. He is off the Suns.
I'm also like, I'm so sad because at the start of the season, Tom, you were so excited and you were like listing off all of these players that were going to take you, really far in the season, and we're 2 rounds in and...
Yeah, and I think that's the brutal reality with the W as well. Like, it's so short, and it's like, 2 performances is enough to tell us how this season's going to go, and I'd be surprised if we win a game, right? Like, that's how it be sometimes, right? We don't have enough time to get enough players back from injury and stuff, or to make enough significant changes that we can put together a run. So, we'll just... It's all good. Our team is very young and we have a lot of young academy players, so it's all chill.
Inevitable.
It's inevitable, but this year is a write-off perhaps. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, and new coach. Makes things hard.
Yeah.
Everyone's tipping Power, I imagine. Shout out if not. Mission Whitten Oval, the coldest place I've ever been on earth, but awesome fireworks if you ask me. Western Bulldogs taking on Hawthorn. Same percentage this time, but going to Hawks. 5% only tipping Bulldogs, who are a very young team. That makes sense. Hawkers are looking pretty good. I'm tipping Hawks.
Hawthorn.
Yeah, I'm tipping Hawks, but Hawks haven't been able to have a big win yet. Yes, they beat Brisbane. Yes, they beat Carlton, but just in both accounts. They didn't put on a lot of goals, and Western Bulldogs did manage to score better than they've ever scored before, I think, against Richmond. Like in recent years, they obviously won the premiership recently.
Yeah, I think Hawks win, but I like the Doggies. I think they're probably still a couple of years away. I really want to see Christy Lee Weston Turner play. Like, she's had a shocking run. I think she had I saw Riley Beveridge on Talking W was saying that she's had long COVID into concussion into flu, which is why she's missed the start of the year. So hopefully she's back soon. But yeah, Hawks to win.
Yeah.
Everyone Hawkers. Mm-hmm. And then on Sunday, I believe, August 31st, the D's are taking on Collingwood. I need this.
Revenge.
I need this game. I need to see these colours beating those colours. I'm putting the day aside. I'm going to get something yummy for lunch. I'm going to watch this unfold. Cannot wait. Anyone tipping pies here?
Hell yeah.
You tipping the pies?
No, of course not. I just thought it would be funny.
No, I'm so happy with our beloved D's. They're doing great this year. Go D's. The other game, Fremantle Oval that day. Kangaroos versus Wayula, probably potentially game of the round, maybe. I think both teams pretty good. Obviously,
Fremantle aren't aces.
Have they won a game?
They're good, but they're not North.
Yeah, but it's the home ground advantage potentially. It's a long. Was this a final last year? No,
they played Yartaputi.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I'm tipping North Melbourne, who haven't put a foot wrong yet. Really, how is everyone else feeling?
Yeah, Kangas.
Yeah, Kangas.
And then the last game of the round, poor old Carlton, going up to the Bermuda Triangle of football, going up to Brighton Homes Arena. You don't come out looking good against Brisbane, who haven't started strong, we will say. They've dropped a game. They're still sitting sixth, but they've dropped a game, and they've only got a percentage of 197%. Yeah, obviously we're all going to tip Brizzy here too, surely?
Yeah.
I'm going to tip Carlton because they're our team.
Good on you, Tom.
Back them in.
Yeah, Brizzy by heaps. Sorry, Mimi.
Sorry, Mimi. We love you, Mimi.
No, that's all good. Well, yes. By the way, I'm doing okay in the tipping. I'm 5,000th out of 13,000th. So I'm happy with that. Are you happy?
Yeah, that's way overs for you for sure, mate. You're awful at tipping.
Hey, I hope everyone enjoys the footy. Also, enjoyed it last night or enjoys it tonight. Marnie and Paddy in Melbourne, I hope you enjoy the footy this week, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us, Mr. Broden and Mr. Tom.
How's the tour going?
It's going very well. We're 4 shows in. My back hurts.
Cool.
But it's Brisbane's a lovely place, and I could see why you'd want to live here and cover and play football.
Yeah,
because no one cares about it. But it's very good. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Enjoy the football. Bounce that fiddle.